Hello, 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 my beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of the Auntie Lanette Show, where we showcase some of Toronto's hottest visual and musical artists, brought to you by a WWB production. I am your host, LWB. You can find copies of the Auntie Lanette Show on all of your podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, and Spreaker.com. So happy to introduce you all to today's guest, Chris Tabuu. Chris is an artist, creator, and filmmaker. Living in Toronto for most of his life, Scarborough to be exact, his goals are to create and help others create. And if he can make life a little bit easier for at least one other person during his journey, that will be all right with Chris. So welcome, 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 Chris. How you doing today?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing blessed. I hope you're doing blessed.
Doing so well, my brother. Feeling good. Happy to see you.
Happy to see you too.
We are going to dive right in, and we're going to introduce our audience to how fabulous you are and how your music contributes to the fabric of Toronto. So the first question I'm going to ask is, how long music has been a part of your life?
I guess you can say it's always been a part of my life, but like in the last 5-6 years, I try to take it more seriously. Like, how do I incorporate not only music, like me doing it as a hobby, but like, how do I use it to like better myself? And then, so I guess you can say 5 years, seriously.
I like that. So you've been at it for 5 years. Mm-hmm. And you are trying to ensure that you're being fulfilled, but that you take it to the next level.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, cool. So where do you think the future of rap lies today, just in general? Like when you look around at the artists that you're competing with, I know you do Harborfront. I see you up there doing your thing.
Thank you.
What does rap feel like to you today versus when you were just introduced to the game?
How I see it is just an expression of who you are. So how I see most artists nowadays is like, how do you tell your story? Since I believe that we all have similar stories, and each person, is up to you to describe, like, how do you tell your story? How is your story similar to everybody else? And then that way it's easier for everybody else to like relate to you. Like, if you know my story, it's quite similar to like most of these artists, but how I see it is like, yes, it's similar, but that's a good thing because all these other people can relate to what I'm saying. So they have a better understanding. Like, yeah, I went through the same obstacles. I went through the same thing, but this is how he went through it. This is how he overcome his obstacles, and he's still going on. He's still keeping it consistent. So if I can show like a 13-year-old, 10-year-old kid, like, yo, I was in your position. So you just got to keep it consistent and you can be where I'm at. Even though I'm not like far in the game, I'm still kicking it, and my hopes is to take it as far as possible. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Yes, that's what it's about. I love hearing that. The consistency is clear when it comes to you, and you are so dedicated. Mm-hmm. I love what you said. So if it wasn't for music, where would you be now? If you didn't have that form of expression that you talk about, that relatability, that universality, right? Like everybody can relate to the story of struggle and overcoming. So where would you be if it weren't for music? What do you think?
Music isn't my only lane. I also do visuals. And as I mentioned before, I'm a fashion designer. So like, no matter what, I'm just trying to express my feelings, express who I am through what different art forms. So if it's not music, I'll be in the film industry, you know, displaying my visuals. Like, these are my ideas in my head shown visually so everybody else can have a better understanding of what I'm going through, how I'm thinking, how I'm seeing, like, different obstacles, different things in my life.
That's right. So talk about Lifeline. That sounds quite similar, you know, in intonation with what you're saying.
Exactly.
Right?
So I just dropped a new single called Lifeline. So pretty much this song is like a foundation of like, no matter how successful I get, this is where I was. This is how I became who I am. And all these obstacles, like, for example, in the song, I talk about how in 2020, I was inside like a house fire. My house burnt down.
So sorry.
Starting from that point, I fully woke up. Like, now I have like a goal. Like, okay, I see my whole family in like such a down point.
Sure.
Now I gotta be the one that steps up to, like, you know, bring us as far as possible. So no matter how successful I get, I know like I've been through all of that tough tough problems. So now how do I bring as far as possible? And that's why I call it lifeline. It's like I'm literally putting my life on the line. So no matter where I end up, I know where I came from.
Beautiful, Chris. And, as somebody who's known you and your beautiful family for many, many years now, I am so sorry. Our hearts go out to you all, and everything you're saying resonates because nobody gets through this life unscathed.
Exactly.
It's how we, absolutely. Hard times fall upon every soul on this planet. You do not get out of this journey unscathed. There's no free pass. Exactly. And I love that you express that in your music. I am so proud of you. So if you could describe the best song you've ever created,
the best song,
what would it be? What's the title? Where do we find it?
Yes, the best song currently right now is the song that I'm performing on like open mics and performances so far.
Yeah.
So I can't give you one. I might have to give you two.
Oh.
So the best one is either 3 Missed Calls and Cup of Dollars.
3 Missed Call and Cup of Dollars.
Yes,
nice.
So if you have a chance, listen to those two songs to really understand what's going inside my mind.
That's right. And so what's your process when you sit down and write your music? How does that flow for you? Are you inspired by the day or something that's going on politically or environmentally or in the family? Obviously, you went through something quite major in 2020. So where do you get your source of inspiration when you're writing these songs?
Amazing question. My source of inspiration is pretty much I'm trying to be better than I was yesterday. So if I have a fire song yesterday, I'm trying to find a way how to make a better song from yesterday. So each day is like a progression. How do I best myself? How do I become the best version of myself each day? So no matter how hard I go today, tomorrow I have to go harder.
I love it.
It's a must. It's a must.
Yeah, because you're besting yourself. Your only competition is yourself. So exactly. I love that, Chris. So then how would you describe your style of music?
My style of music? Currently, I'm in search of a sound, I guess, since I'm not trying to give the people who listen to me like something they already heard like on the radio or from other artists. So like I'm trying to literally separate myself so I can give you something different, whether it's a hip song or a storytelling song that like it just sounds different, but yet it sounds like me. So that's why I call it taboo music. It's supposed to give you like that different like feel, like that taboo. Like,
yeah.
This is different. It's like that spooky, yet it's creative, yet it has you thinking, but it has you motivated and it has you just feeling like a whole different feeling. And I'm trying to find a way how to like, get all these feelings to like just have like a whole different feeling. Like I don't have like an exact word or like aim I'm trying to go at, but I'm trying to just take it as far so I know where I'm headed at.
No, you described it very well. I think that our audience, when they check out your flow, they're going to feel exactly what you just said. You have a trilogy of effect on people. You make them hear you, you make them feel you, and you motivate them. And I love, as it brings a circle back to what you said earlier, that it's inspiring for the next generation. And also like, wow, this guy was able to put his feelings someplace positive and like, really move people to boot. So that's awesome. I always love throwing in a fun little, off the cuff. So based on what you said, potato chips or chocolate, let's go. Which is it? If you had to choose, Chris?
Chocolate, and the type of chocolate is a Kit Kat. Woo! Kit Kat is the #1 chocolate in the world. Nobody, I can argue with anybody who says any other chocolate, but Kit Kat is #1.
Wow, you heard it here first, folks. Like Chris broke it down. He didn't just say chocolate. He said it's all about the Kit Kat.
You gotta know.
All right, so what I want to get into now is a question that I love to ask artists like yourself, especially young artists who have so much flavor and verve, as we say in the music industry, right? If you could collaborate with any artist on the planet, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Dead or alive? That's a good question. There's actually a lot of talented artists that I really want to collab with, but the one artist that I feel like would bring me to a next level is Kanye West. Kanye West. No matter what.
No, it's all fainted. Nice. Okay, tell us why.
Because I just believe that Kanye is just thinking on a different level. So if he sees like a person with drive, a person with character, and just sees the potential and they're actually serious about their craft, and if you can be in a room with Kanye to just him improve your style, him improve how you are, I believe he can really bring like that beast out of you. And that's exactly what I feel like I need. Somebody to really push me to my limits so I know how far I can go.
All right. Well, pushing you more than you push yourself. I like that because you are already on your game. I love this. Okay, so then how do you manage a work-life balance, right? Because, Chris, you can't get to that point where you're not maintaining your mental health, pacing yourself. We know this industry. It pushes us constantly. Crazy. It's like go, go, go. You have to be somewhere at 6 a.m. and then back to the next place by 4. So how do you manage your equilibrium and your balance in a rapidly evolving world, right? Yes. Where all the outside stuff is actually going to come inside, whether you like it or know it or not, right? How do you do that?
I guess you can say, although it sounds weird, but it's all about patience and timing. You always got to slow down, and no matter how fast life is moving, you always got to slow down and be level-headed because you are who you are and you are your character. So no matter where you get put into, you got to remain yourself. A famous quote that Jay-Z said was, no matter what room he's in, he's going to remain himself. He's going to remain as Jay-Z. He's not going to try to please anybody by talking this way or that way. He's going to remain himself. So then seeing Jay-Z, saying all of that and seeing where he's at right now.
Exactly.
There's obviously an advice to take from, here in indulging that advice he gets. And that's the same advice I'm telling myself, like, no matter how fast paced I'm going at, no matter who's coming in and out of my life,
that's right.
I got to remain myself no matter who's in the room. I got to introduce the world to who I am instead of let everybody, try to put a perception on who I am.
I like that. And that comes across. So before we wrap, tell the people who you are.
My name is Tabuu. I'm an artist, a fashion designer. I'm also a filmmaker. I'm audio-visual. That's my specialty. I'm not only giving you the audio, I got to give you the visual so you know what I'm saying, so you understand where my ideas are coming from, so you understand what I'm trying to display. Once again, my name is Tabuu. I'm a music artist. I rap. I'm just an entertainer, trying to see how far I can bring my ideas in life.
That's right. And then your line, your tabooline.com. Yes. Tell them about that.
I have a fashion line called Tabuu Line. This is actually the newest drop. It's not out yet.
Drip.
It's called Gold Line.
Nice.
The reason why it's Gold Line is because I believe there are people who genuinely want to help you, people who are like solid and pure, like gold, that genuinely want to help you, except you got to be level-headed enough to understand not everybody's trying to use you, not everybody's trying to snake you, because we living in Toronto, that is the big issue, how everybody doesn't trust each other, not everybody's trying to like help each other up and go up. So like I'm trying to break that chain, like not everybody's like that. I'm genuinely trying to help as many artists as possible. However I can help, I'll do it. If I can, I'll do it.
So proud of you. So proud of you. That is a beautiful message, Chris. And it's not spoken out loud enough about because we don't get far on an island. So it's beautiful of you to say that and to validate that it's okay to reach back, to reach up, to be vulnerable, to listen, but to also teach because you do have a lot to offer. And even though you're still a pupil of this life, like we all are, we never stop learning and growing. I love what you just said.
Thank you so much.
And on that note, my brother, bring it in. I'm so proud of you folks. That's going to have to be a wrap. We're here on the Auntie Lanette Show, just giving much love to all of Toronto's hottest visual and musical artists. So check them out. I will make sure that you have Chris's tags and websites and places to find him all over the socials. All of his songs from Say No More to Lifeline, which he talked about today, will be just completely available to you. Thank you for tuning in. It's LWB signing out. Until the next time.